You already know what it feels like. You say something and people just move on, like you didn't even speak. You repeat yourself, and somehow that makes it worse. You watch someone else say the exact same thing you just said, and suddenly everyone's nodding, everyone's engaged, everyone's listening, and you're standing there wondering what just happened. That feeling right there, that quiet invisibility, that slow erosion of confidence every single time you open your mouth and get nothing back. That is one of the most painful experiences a human being can carry around every day. And the worst part is, most people never figure out why it keeps happening to them. Here is what nobody tells you. It is almost never about what you are saying. It is almost always about how you are saying it. The gap between being ignored and being heard is not intelligence. It is not confidence. It is not even personality. It is clarity. Simple, precise, powerful clarity. And when you figure out how to communicate with that kind of clarity, everything changes. Not just in conversations, but in your career, your relationships, how people perceive you, how much influence you naturally carry in any room you walk into. Before we go further, if you are someone who has been struggling with this for a while and you genuinely want a faster path through it, there is a program linked in the video description below this video. Most people will scroll past it. Most people will keep doing what they have always done and keep getting what they have always gotten. But if you are the type of person who takes real action, go check it out now and come back. The people who moved quickly on things like this are the ones you are going to be jealous of in 6 months. Now, let's get into this. Think about the last time you were in a conversation and you could literally feel the other person losing interest. Maybe their eyes drifted. Maybe they started looking at their phone. Maybe they gave you that slow nod that means absolutely nothing. That moment, that specific gut punch moment, happens because something in the communication broke down. And it broke down early. Way before you even finished your sentence. Research into communication patterns shows that listeners form an impression of what you are saying within the first few seconds. Within seconds, not minutes, seconds. That means if your opening sentence is vague, if it rambles, if it does not land with a clear purpose, the other person's brain has already moved on. Their body is still there. Their eyes might still be pointed at you. But mentally, they have already left. This is what unclear communication costs you in real life. Think about the promotion you interviewed for but did not get, even though you knew you were qualified. Think about the idea you pitched that got dismissed, only to watch someone else pitch it differently and get full buy-in. Think about the relationship that drifted because you could not quite put into words what you needed. Think about the arguments that went in circles for hours and resolved nothing. Every single one of those situations has unclear communication somewhere at the center of it. Every single one. Studies show that professionals who communicate with clarity earn significantly more over their lifetimes than those who do not. Not because they are smarter, not because they work harder. Because when people understand you, they trust you. When people trust you, they invest in you. That is not opinion, that is pattern. That is what happens across thousands of careers and relationships when clarity is either present or absent. Now here is the dramatic shift that changes everything. Most people think communication is about talking more, explaining more, adding more detail. Wrong. The people who get heard the most talk less. They are just ruthlessly precise about what they say. Every word they use is pulling weight. There is no filler. There is no hedging. There is no apologetic language softening every sentence until it means nothing. There is a technique called anchoring your message. Before you say anything important, you attach it to something the other person already cares about. You do not lead with what you want, you lead with what they value. The second you do that, something shifts. Their attention locks in because their brain hears something that matters to them. Suddenly you are not just talking, you are speaking their language. And when you are speaking someone's language, they cannot ignore you even if they try. Let me paint a picture. Imagine someone who used to dread meetings at work. Every time they spoke up, their ideas got steamrolled. Every time they tried to explain something, people looked confused or disengaged. They started going quiet in meetings entirely, just to avoid that familiar sting of being talked over. Then they started studying the way people who always got heard actually structured what they said. They noticed those people never started with the full story. They started with the outcome. They said something like, "Here is what I think we should do, and here is why it directly solves the problem we are all staring at." Then they filled in the rest. Within weeks of applying that one shift, the meetings transformed. People started turning to look when they spoke. Ideas that had been ignored for months started getting traction. The invisibility disappeared. Not because they became a different person, because they became clearer. This is what the cost of invisibility actually looks like over time. Multiply one ignored idea by 5 years at work. Multiply one misunderstood conversation in a relationship by a decade. Multiply the quiet resentment that builds when you keep saying things and nobody gets what you mean. It compounds. The emotional weight gets heavier. The confidence gets thinner. The willingness to speak up shrinks until eventually some people stop speaking their minds entirely. They call it being introverted. It is not introversion. It is the learned response to being consistently misunderstood. And it is reversible. Here is the next piece that most people completely miss. Your body communicates before your mouth does. By the time you say your first word, the other person has already received a message from you. The way you carry yourself walking into a room tells people whether to take you seriously. The pace at which you speak tells people whether you believe what you are saying. Slow, steady, deliberate speech signals authority. Fast, nervous, breathless speech signals anxiety. And people respond to the signal they receive, not the words alone. Here is where the social proof gets undeniable. The shift in communication clarity is not a soft skill. It is one of the highest leverage changes a person can make. Executives who work on communication clarity report that relationships improve faster and with more depth than they expected. Parents who apply this with their children report less conflict and more genuine connection. Partners in relationships report finally feeling understood after years of circular arguments. This is not a niche benefit. This touches every single area of your life simultaneously. Now let us talk about specificity, because this is where vague communication kills you the fastest. When you are vague, people fill in the blanks themselves. And they almost never fill in the blanks in your favor. When you say something like, "I just need more support," the other person hears whatever support means to them, which might be completely different from what you actually need. But when you say, specifically on Tuesday evenings, "I need 30 minutes where I am not interrupted so I can recharge," there is no ambiguity. There is nothing to misinterpret. There is just a clear request that either gets met or does not. That clarity is not cold. It is actually the most respectful thing you can offer another person. You are saving them from guessing and failing. The most magnetic communicators in the world share one common trait. They make the other person feel completely understood before they ever make a single point. They listen first, reflect back what they hear, and only then introduce their perspective. This does not make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because the moment someone feels truly heard by you, their defenses drop. They stop preparing their counter-argument while you are still talking. They actually open up and receive what you are offering. That is influence. That is real, ethical, human influence. Here is another pattern interrupt for you. Stop saying things you do not mean just to soften the blow. Things like, "This might sound crazy but," or "I could be wrong," or "Not sure if this is relevant." Every hedge like that signals to the other person's brain that what follows can safely be discounted. You are giving people permission to ignore you before you even make your point. Delete those phrases entirely. Start your sentences with the actual thing you want to say, and let the weight of your words carry themselves. There is something powerful that happens neurologically when someone hears information that is organized clearly. The brain does not have to work as hard. And when the brain does not have to work hard to understand you, it assigns that ease to you as a quality. You become someone who makes things simple. You become someone who brings clarity to confusion. And people want to be around people like that. They want to listen to people like that. They bring people like that into important rooms. Think about where you want to be 6 months from now. Think about the conversations you want to be having, the table you want to have a seat at, the relationships you want to be deeper, the professional respect you want to feel in the room. None of that happens without communication that lands. None of it. And every day you wait to fix this, those rooms stay closed a little longer. Here is what this is really about. It is not about being a better talker. It is about finally being truly understood by the people who matter most to you. It is about walking away from conversations feeling like you actually showed up, like your words landed, like your presence registered. That feeling is available to you. It is not reserved for a specific type of person. It is a learnable, practicable set of habits that transform how the world responds to you. If you are ready to stop leaving your growth to chance, the program in the description below this video is your next move. Not tomorrow. Now. Because the version of you that communicates with clarity, that walks into rooms and gets heard, that builds the career and the relationships you have been thinking about, that version does not appear on its own. It is built deliberately. The people who act today will be unrecognizable to themselves in ways that matter deeply. The link is below. Go now.